Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint a Calla Lily. I'll be doing it step by step, and I have my husband Mark with me here.
Hey there, everybody.
He's man in chat today for our live show, so if you have questions while I'm painting, you can ask those, and I'll try to answer them. Let's get started. Alrighty, so I've already kind of pre-sketched my Calla Lily on here. I've got a 10-inch by 10-inch, 12-ounce Dixie canvas. This is the Pro Series from Fredrix. Really like these canvases, and they've got nice thick sides. So I went ahead and coated it with a coat of carbon black just to kind of prep it for the show. And I just used a Stabilo, what is this? Pastel pencil. Couldn't think of the name.
It's a pencil.
But it's basically chalk, so it'll erase when we paint over it. Let me show you how we drew it on here, but first let's go over colors really quick. I've got Quinacridone Magenta, Cadmium, Yellow Medium, Yellow Oxide, Phthalo Green Yellow Shade, Ultramarine Blue, Dioxazine Purple, Burnt Sienna, Burnt Umber, Carbon Black, that was the background, Titanium White, Unbleached Titanium, and I have a little bit of glazing liquid. And we'll only be using a few brushes. This one really doesn't have that many small details, so we're just going to need something for kind of long sweeping details. So I'm just grabbed my angle brushes. I've got a number 6 Angle Bright from the 6100 series Princeton, and then I've got my 3/8 inch and 1/4 inch angle brushes in the VelvetTouch line from Princeton. So thank you to Princeton and Fredrix for providing our brushes and canvas today. And good sound effects.
I keep forgetting that I need to get that.
A little sound effects machine. Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to be using this is my mixed media Canson XL board, but you can paint in these and you can also draw. So I use them for all kinds of different things, and you've probably seen them. This is like basically my scribble sheet for for when they're not very finished designs in here. So like scrolling through there going, oh, ouch. But okay, so we're going to use this today for drawing, but all the materials that we're using today are listed down in the description, and also there's a link to the Amazon store where I have a list of acrylic painting supplies. So if you're interested in that, also the Brush Guys list for brushes, I would get them from the Brush Guys, not necessarily Amazon, because the Amazon prices are a little higher. So
plus there's 5% off.
Plus there's 5% off, right, from Brush Guys if you use the code Angela Fine Art. So. All right, this is about the same width, or height, but it is quite a lot, more narrow. So our flower is actually going to kind of fit almost from side to side here. We'll make it a little bit smaller than our reference. But when I looked at my reference photo, the first thing I do is kind of figure out where my center marks are, kind of where are the key parts of my item on my major landmarks on my canvas. So here, the halfway mark, I come over just a little bit for the stem, and the angle is coming up this way for our drawing. So we're going to kind of start there. So I'm going to find my center mark and then come over just a little bit and angle my stem this way. And then my flower is going to angle off this way. And then I kind of figure out how wide I need to make it, how close to the edges of the canvas it is on either side. I might even be able to bring this out just a little bit more and exaggerate this angle just a little bit more even. Now that I'm looking at it after I've already drawn it. But so you're going to want it. That's your major angle right there, is that long line of your Calla Lily. These are really actually pretty easy to draw, really kind of fun. And then you're going to come in just a little bit from your base here. It doesn't widen out that much, and it kind of comes almost parallel to this line, like this. And then it's going to curve out this way, like that. All right. Then we'll figure out this, you can actually continue this line and curve it around. And I'm running out of space, so I'm going to curve mine in a little bit harder than it is on the drawing, but you get the idea. So that is actually, we're going to erase part of this line, but that's actually kind of just to get that curve is really important. So it's going to go all the way from this outside edge, comes out just a little bit right here, but then it kind of follows that angle almost straight, comes straight out like that. All right, then I'm going to come up from this and I'm going to start drawing the petal that's on the inside. So I'm going to come down a little bit and I'm going to cut off that line. And it goes almost straight to this point here. This one was a little bit higher than this one, but they almost line up straight across because of the angle of the flower. So it's going to come all the way across like this. It's going to come up fairly high. Do that a little bit tighter. And then back down, and then kind of meet up to that little point right there. And this is actually curving back in. If we could see the inside of that, that's actually curving back in and does this long spiral on the inside of the flower. So there's our first petal. And then we erase this mark right here, because that's getting covered up by this petal right here. Then we're going to continue this up and around on this side. And then do these kind of long flowy line. And really you can kind of make this sort of any kind of shape you want it to. It doesn't really have to be exactly like you're drawing. Just get it kind of the same height just about. It's a nice thing about flowers. You can kind of, you don't have to worry about being a really, really good drawer. You can still draw flowers. All right. And I'm just kind of cleaning that line up there. Okay, so there's that outside line, and then you're going to come really close to this little, this actually comes out to kind of a sharp point right here. Didn't really draw it that way. And then this line here is going to curve down and come really close to it right in here. So it's actually going to curve down pretty drastically right there. You're real close to that and skirt around the outside of it. Come out fairly far, right about there. And then curve in and touch the inside of this one. Back out. Curve in again. And cuts off the end of that. Okay, then the outside of this is going to come like that. It's actually going to be like that. And then it's going to cut off right there. Let me clean all this up. I do like 10 lines for every one that I keep, so this is, I know it's kind of messy, but that's the way I do. Sorry. Alrighty, so about like that. So this line is going to curve in, out, back out, and then connect them this. And this outside line is going to go right up to that line and cut off the inside of those petals like that. Right. And that's about what we do. Not too bad, right? Then the other thing that you're going to need to keep in mind with when we're painting it is that all of these lines are leading down into the center of our flower. So, and they curve out this way, but they're all pointing down here. So all your lines are going to, even if they're kind of going this way, they're going to the end of them are all going to be pointing down towards the center of our flowers. So this is the direction that we're going to be doing our brush strokes in. It's like this. And then there's going to be these long lines that kind of come in like this. I know I'm ruining my drawing there, but I just wanted to give you an idea of the
Well, that's okay.
direction of the brush strokes. All right.
Somebody's asked what's the difference between Mars black and carbon black?
They're pretty much identical. In fact, I think I have a thing on here.
One is from Mars, the other one's from Venus.
Right. They're pretty much identical, so I would say they're interchangeable. I did a comparison once, and I don't think I would have been able to pick one out, from another. So if I had them side by side, I don't think I could tell the difference. All right, I'm going to get a little bit of water here.
What does that look for?
I don't know why you did the ba-dump-dump.
Well, because I did a joke, but you didn't really react to it. So.
Okay. You were doing your own ba-dump-dump.
Yeah. I was entertaining myself.
Okay.
I got one LOL
I
in
thought
chat,
I missed.
so.
I thought I missed something.
Well, yeah, obviously you did. Because you didn't laugh.
So I didn't laugh. Okay. I'm going to start with the green here. We're going to transition from green up into kind of the yellowish white, and then our purples, pink. So I'm going to start down here, and I'm starting with the dark color, so it's going to be pretty close to the color that we've already got going on here. I'm going to go ahead and kind of just follow that line up. I have a feeling this one's going to go pretty fast with our painting. It's not super complicated flower, so I kind of think we're going to probably have time to go mow the lawn this afternoon.
It's too wet.
Too wet today here, yeah. Sorry.
But I did burn stuff this morning,
There you
so.
go. Burnt off all the million boxes that we've been hoarding in our garage. All right, so I added some yellow here, and I'm just going to kind of outline this. And I'm using the large, this is the number 6 Angle Bright. This is the largest of my angle brushes here today. I'm just going through that wet green paint here and adding some of this color in. And I'm going to go right up the middle here. Right over the top of that black. There we go. Grab some yellow, grab some white. Make that light yellow-green, and right in here, there's a little bit of this bright green. And it's just in that little pocket that we're seeing between this petal and this outer flower, so just kind of put it right in that little corner there. And then there's a little bit of it here too. Let's just go ahead and put that color all in there. And when I'm ending these brush strokes, I'm flaring them out, so feathering them out so that I don't have any hard lines, so I can go back over later and add another color in, and they'll blend right over them. And I'll be able to keep adding my colors. So I want this kind of feathery thing happening here. And I just do that by, I don't have a lot of paint on my brush. I'm barely touching it down, just going in the direction that I'm seeing the flower growing here. I'm going to go right on that outside line there, get it a little bit brighter, right on that outside edge. But you can see that what's happening is that we're getting some of these nice streaks happening in our flower.
Would you consider this to be an easy painting?
This was definitely going to be on the easier side of my large flower series. This was probably one of the easier ones that we'll have done. So I wouldn't say it's like easy per se, but it's definitely easier than some of the other ones we've done. And this green I want fairly dark, so I don't want to mess with it too much down here. I want to keep it fairly dark right down here where it's almost black. So I'm just darkening that back up, and I'm going to add some of this dark green to right in here. Okay. I'm going to wait to do any more like details here with this part down in here because this brush is a little bit too big. This is good for the big sweeping details, but getting that color on, but it's not going to be great for smaller details. So let's grab some more white and a little bit of yellow. I'm going to wipe my brush out. Actually, I'm going to just go ahead and clean it out. Grab a good amount of white here and some of my yellow. A little bit of yellow goes a long way here. And then I'm going to grab just a tiny bit of green. So it's just slightly tinted green, so it's just a little bit different than the color we just put down, but it's going to be a lot brighter than it. I'm going to grab a little bit of glazing liquid here. The glazing liquid's just going to help this paint go on a little bit smoother onto the canvas. I'm going to bring this out for my drawing just a little bit and exaggerate that angle just a little bit more.
Can hear that bird.
Yeah. Just singing.
There's one happy mockingbird out there.
He's having a great day. He's just glad the rain stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, getting some white here. I'm doing white right in here. I'm going to grab some of that yellow that was down here, that green, I should say. It was down here, and I'm going to pull it up into my yellow while it's wet. Blend those together.
I'm going to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Oh, yes.
No matter if your country doesn't celebrate Mother's Day tomorrow.
Yes.
And I'd have to say that I wouldn't be here without my mother.
That's very true. Me either.
Without my mom?
Well, without... No, I don't know. There's no telling where I would be actually without you, your mom. I could have stayed in Arizona because I wouldn't have had my son,
yeah.
so I might still be there.
Yep. You could be a lettuce farmer.
I could be a lettuce farmer.
Let's see. What would you have done?
I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. That's a scary thought, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep. Back to the painting.
Yeah. Okay, so just going back through here, and what I'm trying to do is just soften that transition between those colors. So it was, pretty bright of a transition there at first. So I'm just kind of getting a little bit more yellow here. There's some yellow spots on my... And the nice thing is if we get the values correct and we get all of the, our shapes right and everything, what we can do is just go back in here and add a little hint of yellow or a little hint of green or darken it up, later with some glazing. We don't have to get it perfect on this first go around. So just don't get too caught up on all of the little details here right at first. Just kind of try to get your color down right here. That's all we're really trying to do right now. There we go. There's a little tiny line right there. Okay. Just using the edge of my brush here, doing these lines. And these need to kind of turn this way. I'm kind of doing them straight up. I need to turn them. They kind of go off this direction. There we go. All right, I'm pretty happy with that. And I'm going to switch to a little bit smaller brush. Clean that out and just set it off to the side before I can wash it. Get a little bit, I'm getting the 3/8 inch angle now. And let's mix up some of our purple color. So I'm going to grab some Quinacridone Magenta. It's mostly quinacridone, just a little bit of purple. Yeah, that's pretty good. Add a little bit of white to it. And the white just helps it show up. If you don't have the white in there, it's pretty dark. Both of these colors, quinacridone and the purple, are pretty dark. So without that little bit of white in there, they wouldn't really show up at all. And then I might add just a tiny touch of burnt sienna. And the burnt sienna will kind of tone it down and make it a little bit more neutral. If we wanted it like super vibrant, we would not do that. But I think that we can neutralize it, tone it down just a little bit. So I'm going to follow the outside line here of my flower. I'm going to get some white. Do this part with white, a little bit lighter, right along that edge. And then where they meet, I'm going to grab some of that yellow that was our color down here, right? And added those two together, and I'm just going to meld them together a little bit. I've kind of just added a little bit of that yellow to my pink. And this will take a little tweaking, so don't worry about it if it doesn't look right at the first. We'll get it there. And a little bit darker pink under here. I have to say though, even though the shape is a lot easier, this blending from this to this is going to be a little bit trickier than the poppy that we did, the red poppy that I suggest people start with on the flower series, because you're not going from one color to another. It's always trickier when you're going from one color to another. So I've mixed up some white with my pink color, and I'm going to start on my light color here, and I'm going to come up over the top just a little bit, and I'm going to go in that direction that I want the brush strokes to show, right? I'm not going to go all the way to the edge because I don't want to cover all my darker pinks, but I'm going to really, it kind of comes from this direction all the way over. So I'm just kind of lightly going over there. I'm going to wash my brush out. Do this quickly. Don't take a lot of time washing it out. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm going to grab my yellow color that was down here, and I'm going to come up over a little bit more. Pick up a little bit more. I'm wanting to get this in on there. While that, I picked up a little bit of glazing liquid just to smooth it out a little bit. While that color is still wet. And if it's not wet, you can still do this over the top of the dry paint and then just add a little bit of that pink back in and blend back the other way with your pink. So this is going to be the trickiest part right here, is getting from this green, yellow-green to pink. And it happens pretty quickly, so you don't have a lot of room to work in. So this makes it a little bit trickier. So maybe I would say this is a little bit more difficult than the poppy now that I'm doing it. Well, I'm just realizing that this is harder, you know.
Yeah,
if
blending.
You were to,
get the blending perfectly smooth.
Right. Well, just because it's two different colors. That's it. If it wasn't two different colors, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But because we were going from,
well, I think I can even blend black and black.
Right.
I mean, that'd be pretty easy.
Well, I'm saying with poppy, it's like versions of red. So
oh, I see.
It's not pink to green. That's pretty drastic. All right. I grabbed a little bit more of that dark pink and went back over that white that's still wet. And you've got to do it quickly or it won't work. So I think that's pretty good. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit more. Grab a little bit of glazing liquid to make it smooth on here. A little bit of that darker purple. Okay, and then I don't want to mess with it anymore because these colors over here are going to start to dry. It doesn't have to be perfect the first time you do this. So just know that it's better to let it dry and continue working on it than to mess with it and keep working on a painting that's starting to dry, especially with acrylics, because they will mess you up if you continue working on them while they're trying to dry. They get real sticky and they will lift off your canvas and then you'll have a real mess. So just if you feel like your paint is starting to get sticky or you can just kind of feel like it's not blending anymore for you, just stop, dry it, go work on another part like I'm doing here. I'm just trying to get a little bit of this lighter color. I'm going to put a shadow along right here. So these colors are going to be pretty similar to start with, but we'll make sure that they look separated once we put our shadow in. Get a little bit more white and yellow, a little bit of green down in here. It's pretty light. This whole area right here is very light. Just blend it back over up into my pink. And I can go a little bit farther up into my pink than I want it to be. And then I can grab my pink and pull it back down the opposite way. Okay. Pretty good. Let's go ahead and use this color. Kind of medium pink color here on this part that is folded over on itself. And there's a little bit of it down here too. There we go. A little bit more This is that quinacridone mixture. I still have the lighter color on my brush, so if I press down harder, it's gonna get some of that white off that's on there. So there we go. And then I'm going to come from the edge, and I'm just going to pull in towards the center. And this is where it's pretty much the same color, so you can get away with it. I'm actually going to go ahead and push off some of that lighter color that was on my brush down in here. This area is supposed to be lighter, and then just going to blend it back in to my dark. And the key when you're doing this is just kind of do small areas and don't move on until you've got this blended. Like I wouldn't want to go in here. So if I know it's going to take me a while over here, what I'm going to do is come over here and just going to blend out that edge so it's kind of looking soft. Same thing here. Like I kind of came up and I kind of blended out that edge. And then I can come back over here and work on this and not have to worry about this drying and looking funky when it's dry. So like I wouldn't want to leave a hard edge like that and work on something over here and then come back to it, because it'd be harder to cover that up and blend that in. So I want to make sure that I kind of work on that edge and soften it up while it's still wet and easier to do. I hope that makes sense. This will make your when you're blending with acrylics, you have to kind of time manage and work in small sections. And so if you can kind of learn to leave yourself soft edges while you're working on other areas, it'll be a whole lot easier for you. I'm going along here. I'm just using the edge of my brush, and I'm just kind of following that edge all the way around. And then getting my darker color. I'm going to grab a little bit of the darker purple, a little bit of that magenta. This is really dark right in here. Okay, so it's not going to cover on the first try, but we're getting close. It's doing pretty good for us. So now I can come back over here, work on this area, and this is dry now, or mostly dry, so I can go back over it and not have to worry about it lifting. And I'm also wanting to smooth out any little lumps that I'm seeing. So if I see paint areas that are a little thick, I'm going to smooth those out too. What were you going to say, hon?
Oh, I was just going to ask you, make it look a little more difficult.
A little more difficult. I don't know. This one's not too bad, really. Okay, so I'm going to go along this edge of this one, this forward petal here, and highlight the top of it because it's pretty bright all the way along here. That pulls that forward. See how that separated in the two? Pulled that one right forward for us. In fact, I think it's up higher. I think it goes even higher than that.
Someone's asked if you're using a blending gel of any kind.
No.
It's just all paint.
just paint, and I've used a little bit of glazing liquid, and that's just to kind of smooth out the paint a little bit, make it a little bit more fluid. Add a little bit of water. We'll do the same thing just about. Glazing liquid that I'm using, the golden glazing liquid, has a little bit of an extender in it, so it does kind of help give me a little bit extra time with my blending, but I'm not using a lot of it, so it doesn't really, kind of negligible. Okay, so I'm kind of editing my drawing here. Woo! There we go. Yeah. Now this underside is dry, so I'm just putting another layer on it. Spray down my paints with water just to keep them moist while I'm working. Grab a little bit of that green, some yellow. I still have the pink in my brush, so it's going to neutralize that green a little bit, make it a little bit softer. Okay. And I'm going to go right up under here where we've got our, whoops. And if you make a mistake, the nice thing about this is that this black canvas is going to be pretty easy to cover over. So I get questions a lot about using gessoed canvases, which black gesso canvases for these kind of projects, which are fine, except for if you do make a mistake and you want to paint back over that black, it's not going to match. Plus, I always like to have paint on my canvas, not just gesso. It's just like on a white canvas. I would still, even if I wanted the white background, I would still paint my white canvas with a coat of white. So same deal here. It's just kind of maybe gives you a head start, but I would still paint it with a coat of black, even if I was starting on a black gesso canvas. Just so if I do want to touch something up, I can go back in with that black, and I don't have to worry about matching up the color or anything. And gesso is going to be matte. This black has got a sheen to it, and gesso would not have any kind of sheen. It's going to be more matte. So, okay, mixed up some more of that medium green here, and just blend it back over. Right. Grabbing some more of my yellow oxide and some white. And if you're going back over a color, you're using heavy body acrylics, you're going back over your color and you're trying to match up your color, go a little bit lighter than the color underneath. So if I'm trying to match this lighter shade and I go over the top of it and it looks like it matches it exactly, when it dries it's going to be a little bit darker. So go a little bit lighter than you think you need, and then it should be spot on. You'll notice it dries a lot darker. So I'm going back over here and just adding a little bit lighter color. Blending these out. And this green does kind of do almost a diagonal here, just like the flower does. Get that really light color and put some of it in here.
So, as we've said in the past, that you can start with a black canvas, but we recommend that you paint it.
I just said that. Literally 5 minutes ago.
Okay. Well, I didn't say it.
Okay. I'm looking over at you like,
Wow, the look I just got. Like,
did you actually even listen? Like, I literally just got finished talking about why you want to paint your black canvas. I love you. This is so funny. I thought you were joking at first. I was like, are you being serious right now? Because I seriously just finished talking about that. It wasn't even that long ago. I mean, I could understand if it was like at the beginning of the show, but there's proof that Mark does not actually even listen to what I say on any of this. I think you're over there playing video games and just...
okay, I'm just saying for everybody in chat, I'm not paying attention to you anymore. I'm just listening to Angela. So.
No.
No. No,
I would rather you do that. It's just so funny. I think sometimes we do 2 different shows. We get Mark's show going on with the chat and then me with the painting.
That's too funny. No, I did not even listen to a word of that. Not a bit.
Obviously. Pretty sure we caught on to that. Oh, there's cashmere.
So what are we painting today?
I'll tell you later.
Okay, thanks. When does the show start, actually? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah. All right, I'm making a gray here with my burnt umber and ultramarine blue. I'm going to use that to glaze some shadows in here. I might need to wait a little bit longer for that to dry, though. I can use it right in here for now. Darken in right there. And I might be able to use it up in here. Let's just see how it does. Yeah, that's good enough. Mixing up some more of that Quinacridone Magenta. A little bit of white. I go a little bit darker than that first time around. I'm going to come up over the white. Up here, this should be dry now. Giving it a second layer, second coat. This will solidify our first layer here and make sure that it's nice and covered. And then I'm going to grab my lighter pink. That's right in here. It out over the top. It's going to be easier the second time because we've got paint already underneath, so we're not having to worry about the background showing through or any of that. So it should blend for us a little bit better. Grab a little bit of glazing liquid just to help it blend out right here. Right on those ends. Right, so I need to work on that area right there. Grab white. And I think I'm going to switch now to my smaller brush. So this is my 1/4 inch angle. Now this is for my tighter areas. So I'm going to grab a little bit of this yellow green that I had before, add it to my white. I'm going to bring that all along that edge right there, and then grab a little bit of glazing liquid. And that pink was still wet, so it's going to picking up a little bit of that pink now, which is fine. I'm going to blend back and forth with it. Follow that curve. These are all pointing kind of out towards this area here. And then as we get down here, they're all pointing down towards this spot here. How you doing, hon?
I'm doing good. I'm trying to listen.
It's okay. I understand. You know, paint this later? Can you paint in this?
Oh, of course. That's what I do while you're sleeping.
Right. You in here painting?
Yeah,
practicing?
just don't check out my Etsy store, okay?
Okay. Cashmere's getting up on Mark's lap there. Cashmere's our studio cat. She didn't welcome our new folks. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Glad you stopped by and watching with us. Hope you subscribe and come back. Enter into the chat.
Yeah, hit that thumbs up.
Yeah. All that good stuff. All right. Grab a little bit of glazing liquid. So I put the color down pretty thick. I'm going to wipe my brush off and grab a little bit of glazing liquid. I'm going to come over that edge and just kind of push that around a little bit. The glazing liquid will lift off your color though, so you have to be careful about this. You don't want to use too much of it. But it should help me kind of just push this paint around a little bit. You can do similar with water. So, I mean, if you don't have glazing liquid, you could use water. You could use a medium, like I've been seeing people use matte medium for this. But anything that kind of just helps that paint flow a little bit easier. That heavy body can be kind of thick. The heavy body acrylic can be kind of thick. So Oh, there's Cashmere. This is what they do over there during the show. Yeah, she's loving on Daddy. So cute. So you're taking selfies here. I see how hard you're working.
It's for all my fans out there.
Right. She is sweet. She's been a good sport. We've had a new dog and a new cat in the house. She's had to share her space with, because we've got our daughter-in-law and little Liam grandson staying with us while Jordan's going to military school. They've been with us all month, the whole month of May. It's going to be awesome. I'm already missing them. They only have 2 more weeks. I've been here for 2 weeks, so she's enjoying her studio time with Daddy, because Cashmere is, because she's been facing off with their cat, and their cat is so sweet. This is a cat that was a feral cat, so he was taken off the streets. So he's used to having to deal with aggressive cats. And he just postures himself like so low, and he goes real slow by her, and she's just, giving him all the, and he's trying so hard to make friends with her, and he goes up to her and he's just talking to her, meow, 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 just making all these sweet, meowy sounds, and really low, and just kind of, trying to be like, dude, I'm not going to hurt you. I just want to be friends. Mm-hmm. And she is not having any of it. She is like, no. There's a big can of no right here, and it's for you. Like, no, double no. We are not friends. We're not going to make friends, and you are in my house, and don't you dare go into my box. Anytime he goes near her box, man, she goes ballistic. She's got a cardboard box in her corner that's hers.
Yeah, Cashmere can have a shanty town, but I can't. Whatever.
That's true. I hadn't thought of that. You're right, honey. Doesn't seem very fair, does it?
Not at all.
Mark used to have a shanty town in the studio, and I put an end to that. Yeah. He used to have his box fort. You just don't get any fun anymore. We should have taken pictures. I talk about your box fort all the time, but I don't think we have any pictures of how bad it really was, and how bad it was. And it was bad. It was almost, I don't know.
It was perfectly,
for an artist,
perfectly
it was
functional.
Rough. It was rough. I got my whole studio filled with all kinds of really fun little cute trinkets and things, and then the cardboard box on that side of the studio. It's like, don't even look over there. Just cardboard boxes everywhere.
I was recycling.
Mm-hmm. All right, grabbing some blue here. My white. I'm going to mix that with my pink here. I'm going to use this up in here. Add kind of a bluish tint to my highlight in that area.
Okay, somebody wants to know,
more blue.
Have I ever made you ruin a painting by making you laugh so hard?
You have. Yeah, there was one. I'm trying to remember what I was doing. There was one where I had to stop painting because I was trying to do lines or something. I can't remember what I was doing.
The chicken one was pretty good.
The rooster? Yeah, the rooster.
Oh, yeah, the rooster, yeah.
I definitely had to stop painting on the rooster because I was laughing too hard. Okay, so, oh, isn't that pretty? Okay, so we're Gonna do some final like little highlighting on some of this. This blue really will help. I'm going to put some in here too. This transition needs work right here. And really when you get to this point, you'll already have all of your parts set, right? So you've already got all of your main colors down. So now it's just going to be a matter of what your painting needs, because you may have done, this area perfectly the first time and don't need any more work on it. So don't feel like you have to keep working on an area if you're happy with it. I'm going to keep working on certain areas, but you may not have to if if yours looks good to you. So I'm going to grab some of this glazing liquid that I'd mixed up earlier with the Ultramarine Blue and Burnt Umber. And I mixed a little bit of my green with it. So it's kind of a gray green. And I've got a lot of glazing liquid here, mostly glazing liquid. I just have a little bit of tint on my brush here, and I'm going to tint this area in the middle here. So there's that shadow that comes up right there. And then there's one over here too. This one is a little bit more purpley, so I'm going to grab some of that pink. And right here, go along this edge here. Add a shadow right there. It comes down. And I'm just going to soften up that edge so it's not a super hard edge on that shadow. There we go. And then let's do one up here. And this is where you can see where I was talking about how if you get the basic shapes right, now we can go in here and add these shadows and things. And we can still see those streaks through when we do this, if we glaze it just right. I've got mostly glaze here, just a little bit of tint. And we can do this multiple times until we get the color just as dark as we want it to. But I'd rather go too light at first than to go in here and glaze, super dark everywhere. And then you can't go back to light once you do, you can always add more dark glaze, but you really can't go back to light with the glaze. It doesn't work as well. It looks cloudy. So, doing light color over the dark colors doesn't work as well with glazing. I don't find. So adding a little bit of our shadow here, added a little bit of that purpley color. And we're still going to go back over this edge here with a little, and I'm using so little paint on here. That's really the key. Very little paint on here, so I don't have a ton that I'm pushing around on my canvas. I'm going to grab a little bit more glazing, a little tiny bit of yellow maybe. I still had that purple in there, so it's kind of toning it down a little bit. I'm going to use it in here. Oh, that's pretty. Right there. That's a nice color. Let's use some more of it down here. Okay. Very good. So I still need to add a little bit darker right there, I can tell. But I need to let that dry now that the glazing is on there. So I'm going to work up in here. I'm going to add some glazing up in here. Just working on that fold right there. And then let's work on this fold here. There's like a dark area right here. that's going to push that edge out and make it look more rippled. But I want to have a soft blend between those two areas. So just I'm going to go back and forth. Keep that darkest part right in the middle there if you can. And I leave that little highlight area right in the middle. And I probably need to work on that a little bit right there, a little bit more. Oh yeah, I need to put the little part of the flower that's underneath there too. And then I'm going to use my edge of my brush to do some lines because there's like little lines in there. So just a few like... Can you see those? Yeah. More white.
So somebody's asked
Yellow. Mm-hmm.
if you wait till after it dries, if you could use an alcohol ink to add some detail to it.
Yes, you should be able to work on top of acrylics with alcohol ink. The only thing with that is that alcohol inks, they stay reactive even after they're dry. So if you touched it with alcohol afterwards, it would lift. So I would just be sure that you're sealing it somehow, you know. Going back in here. That might have been unnecessary. I don't know. Right there. But grab that
You don't know till you try.
pink color and go back over. Yeah, I just felt like it wasn't dark. It wasn't bright enough down in there. But okay. This area down here is really dark. A little bit more darkness right here. Grabbing a little bit of green. And some white purple. I'm going to make a dark green for under here. Maybe just a tiny bit of white. little bit of yellow. Okay. Go up under here. This is all in shadow here, so I don't need to have it be really dark. It can be real close to that black. There we go. Mixing some more of that green with the burnt umber and ultramarine blue. Little glazing liquid. I'm going to go in here, do a nice dark shadow right there. There's kind of a shadow that comes up around right there a little bit. Oops, a little low. There we go. Really dark right there. That contrast between the light and dark is what gives it really good drama. We want it dramatic. This is the only time I go for drama. Otherwise, it's a no drama zone. Mark can tell you. Don't do drama. Alright, adding blue with my pink magenta here. A little bit more on the blue side than the magenta. That's a white. Okay, press my brush flat so I got a good nice straight edge to my brush here. And I'm just going to run it along that edge right here. And it doesn't have to be in a smooth stroke. You can do this in several small ones if you need to. But this is what's going to give us that really bright edge along our flower. Look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. Were you holding your breath? Mm-hmm. Going over the top. Here, just add a little bit of highlights in a couple places. This one's got some highlight coming down off of it here. Always going in that direction of our brush strokes so that if we have any streaks, it looks like they're supposed to be there. It's the best advice I can give you for doing flowers, because sometimes you'll do something and be like, oh, that's good. But if you've got it going in the wrong direction, you can't keep it. So if you always kind of remember to do these brush strokes the way you're wanting to end up, that'll work for you. Now I'm just adding little brighter highlights to some of these. Get a little bit darker blue on here, a little bit more blue. I'm going to use my wet paper towel here and just wipe off any chalk marks I'm still seeing, which I think I've got most of them off here, but I'm still seeing a few of them. Hmm. There's a little bit of the purpley pink. And then this highlights coming down around here. There's a little bit of green on this one. Let me just grab a little bit of the greenish yellow here and add it to the underside of the flower right there just a little bit. Alright, we're almost done. What time is it? An hour and 15, not bad.
Yeah.
Get a little bit of our yellow. My white here. Just adding streaks in here. And like I said, you may not have to do this. If yours is already looking exactly the way you like it right here, then don't do this. So just kind of follow your instincts. I'm gonna mix a little bit of the green with the yellow, make a bright fluorescent green almost. Grab my glazing liquid. I'm going to use that. Right over that glazing liquid. This is what helps keep it from becoming too overpowering here.
Do you still have the cover from the canvas?
I do.
Somebody would like to know they weren't here at the beginning.
Okay. Yeah, I'll show it.
We'll charge them extra since they came in late.
So if you don't want to draw this and you still want to paint it and you want a traceable for it, I do have those available. They're $1 a month for as many traceables as you want. They're over on my Patreon page, patreon.com/AngelaFineArt, and you can help support our channel and get a little head start on your painting so you can paint without having to worry about drawing it. If that's not your thing, you can still draw, or you can still paint without having to know how to draw. It helps, but I don't want to, I don't want anybody to not paint just because, not enjoy painting just because they think they can't draw. I get a lot of comments about that. And you can still paint if you don't know how to draw. You just use the traceable, trace it on your canvas, and go away you go. Makes it really easy. And then you can work on your drawing skills if that's something you want to do, or just want to enjoy painting without having to worry about the drawing part. Then I have traceables for every single one of my new videos that comes out. We do traceable for it, so makes it very easy. I get a lot of comments about that from people that didn't know they could paint until they started using the traceables, and that's how I started out doing it. So I was doing decorative painting for a while in the 90s, so that was all. Mark would cut out the wood pieces, and there was magazines with the little traceables, and I used those. And I knew how to draw from college. That was my major in college, was art, but I still used the traceables. It was a lot of, it's just a head start on it. Made it really easy. Okay, using that unbleached or Quinacridone Magenta now, glazing with that. Just a little glow down in here. Now I'm making very small changes, just editing little bits of it. Still want this a little bit darker right in here. I'm going to go in here. Wipe that brush out. Grab a little more glazing liquid. Push that paint around.
Then next week on the 19th,
yes,
you got a bonus video.
We do.
We do. Patreon supporters at the $5 level and above.
Yep. Yeah, so we do more kind of in-depth paintings that are a little bit trickier. Take a little bit longer for our Patreon folks that pay $5 a month. So if you want to join us for that, we will have... actually, the link is already down. So if you're part of the $5 members, we're doing it different this year or this month. We have joined Crowdcast. So hopefully it works, because I've already paid for a whole year. And it was not cheap. It's not free like YouTube. But it does allow me to schedule out and make the unlisted bonus videos a little bit easier for people who are joining us. So what you do is go to Crowdcast. There's a link in, let me think if I have it. I haven't posted it on. Yes, I have. It's on, if you go to my Patreon page, Angela, patreon.com/AngelaFineArt. If you go there and go down to the post that's got my schedule for this month, it is listed in the schedule. The new link for the Crowdcast video, the bonus video, is in that schedule, and you can register for it ahead of time. So if you're already a $5 member, you just go to that Patreon, my Patreon thing, scroll down the posts section, find the schedule, and then go and look for the one that shows the bonus video and the link to the bonus videos. There's actually going to be 2, because they only let you do 2 hours at a time on Crowdcast. So we're actually going to have an intermission, which will be nice. So we can go to the restroom halfway through the show. But we'll have 2-hour videos. We'll have 4 hours total if we need it. I don't know if we'll need 4 hours, but if we do, there's 2 links there. So I'm not explaining this very well, but go find the links, follow it to Crowdcast, and register for the show. It'll send you an email. It'll ask you for your email address and take you to Patreon. If you're not a patron already, it'll ask you to sign into your Patreon account and link it to your Crowdcast account so that it knows that you're part of my folks that are registered to watch the video. So I think we're done. What do you think, honey? I think it looks pretty good. I'm happy with it.
Looks aight.
So I'll have explanation. I'll be posting here about it probably this week sometime, so that you have time to go and make sure that you have your Crowdcast account all set up ahead of time, so you don't miss any of the live show if you're part of my thing. But it's really easy. Basically, ask for your email address. That's all you need. Ask for your email address. It'll take you to back to Patreon to log back in if you need, and then once you're logged in and it knows that you're a patron, then you're good to go. So, all right, I'm going to sign this and call it good. Super chat. This is harder to sign with the thicker. Oh,
Yeah, it's
here's
super
the canvas.
chat. Oh, yeah.
This is the 12-ounce Pro Dixie. So it's a little bit more textured than some of my other canvases. It's more textured than the linen canvases for sure.
All right, so we had a bunch of people in with us today, and
Awesome.
thank you so much for all the love and the support out there. And
Hey,
we've had 3 super chatters
nice.
today. The first one was from Gwen, and she donated, says that this is for your hearing aids. LOL. So back when I wasn't listening to you.
Got it. Got it. I like it. Good one.
Yeah, I laughed so hard. So funny, I forgot to laugh, I think is what I put in chat. The second one was from Joan, and she says, I've learned so much and spent so many pleasant hours.
Oh,
Thanks to your expertise and generosity. Thank you both. Thank you, Joan.
thank you.
And Gwen.
Yes.
And
That's
then
awesome.
the last one was
Oh,
from
that.
Sin, and there was no special message, but I think afterwards she said that she really enjoyed this painting.
Oh,
So
well, thank you.
Sin. And Joan and Gwen.
yay. We really appreciate you. Let's, y'all make it so fun for us. It doesn't feel like work. Tell Mark all the time, I feel very blessed. Very blessed. I decided that was too much up into my painting there. Moved it down here a little bit. There we go. And if you're having trouble signing, one of the things that I would say is practice on paper, and use a very small brush. A shorter handled brush or shorter liner is preferable. I think this is a short liner, 18-aught, very, very thin, and I thin down my paint so that it's super thin, and then I add just a tiny bit of glazing liquid or something, so that you want a medium in there, because when you thin down the heavy body acrylics, they don't have as much binder. They have more pigment than binder than the some of the thinner paints, and so you don't want it to underbind and not stick to your canvas well, or like wipe off when you varnish it. That would be awful. So just make sure that you're adding a little bit of medium of some sort in there so that it'll stick better to your canvas. And then I hold it really close, like it's like a pen, almost like I would. And I have it just so that the very tip of it is setting down onto the canvas, so it's barely touching. And then I can almost write just like I would with the pen, but I scoop up a pretty good amount of paint onto my tip of my brush there, so that, I don't know if you can see that. It's pretty thick. So it's a thin brush, but then I scoop up that paint on there so that I don't have to go back and forth and reload it. I can just kind of draw or write my whole name on there without stopping. And it makes it pretty easy to do. I'm going to go ahead and put some of this, since I've got it on here. I'm going to go ahead and add it over here into my area there. So, anyhow, that's I would just practice on paper. I would just practice. That is the best way to get better at it quicker, I mean, really, with anything, right? That's why they have you practicing piano, so you can practice your brush strokes on paper, or on a mixed media board like what I use for my practice, like I showed you at the beginning of the show where I sketched on. Get one of those and practice all you want. There we go. I did mention. I missed it over here. I wanted to add a darker shadow, or not shadow, but darker outline to the edge of these flowers here. So I'm going to go ahead and go in here with some purple and pink. Added a little bit of the glazing liquid and go along here. Add that darker pink along that edge. There we go. Okay. Yeah, very good. What are you laughing at?
That whole time I didn't have you on side cam, and then I said, okay, I'll do a side cam. You came back and did one little quarter-second slash.
Tiny little slash and then done.
Worth it.
Ta-da! All right, I'm going to go in. I'm just noticing now that this upper area could be a little bit darker up here. So I'm going to go in with the darker. Just add a little bit more of the dark right in here. Just glazing it.
So for those of you who are new to the channel, this is how Angela finishes a painting.
Mm-hmm.
She finishes it 6 or 7 times. So when she says she's done, don't be fooled and think that we're over.
Yeah, don't leave yet.
Go get another cup of coffee, settle in, because we got another 15, 20 minutes.
No. Not that long. Don't be ridiculous. 5 minutes tops.
Mm-hmm. I think some of the unusual suspects will back me up on that.
Traitors.
Yes, the truth is the truth. Facts are facts.
All right. I reject your reality and substitute my own. That's from Mythbusters, one of our favorite shows. Mark has a t-shirt that says that.
Yep. From old Adam.
Yeah, that was a great show. I miss it.
I still follow him on YouTube.
Yeah,
he does some great stuff.
He's still doing shows, but he's doing it on YouTube now.
Yeah, they do a kids Mythbusters, but then he has his own tested side and then his own thing. So he does projects and things like that. So
okay. Just trying to blend this dark in here. All right, that's good. I'm going to stop. I love how dramatic it is. It's so dramatic. Very pretty. I'm talking like I do to Liam now. To my paintings. It's so dramatic. We've been doing baby talk so much. It's running into
by the end of the month, we'll just be talking like that normally.
Yeah. So thanks so much. Alrighty. There we go. We're done. All right. Thanks, guys, so much. And as always, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. We love to hear from you. If you do this, you can share it with me on my social media. All the links are down below. And we'll see you next time. We're going to be painting. What are we painting next time? Oh,
Flower of the month?
Flower of the month. Yes. We're doing a lot of flowers. This is like the 4th flower.
Really?
We've done.
On this channel?
I know. So we're on the flower kick this month.
Oh, okay.
Next weekend we'll do a seascape. So, and the bonus video is going to be a landscape with the reflections on a lake. So, anyhow, but yeah, like I said, if you want to check that out and join our video next week, you can do that on Patreon. So, and that link is also down in the description. So, all right. I'm going to do one more thing.
And the brush is out again. Yes.
I want to bring that highlight up.
It's kind of like a rock band, like coming back out for another encore.
This is an encore, yes. Okay.
We want more. Oh, she's back out on stage. She's painting again.
Stop. Goofy. All right. All right, let's stop there. There. Now. Okay. I promise. All right, we're done. I'm putting the brush away. You're going to have to take it away from me today. We'll see you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.